channel. Let's learn how to do it. So the first step is to download YouTube app. Go to Play Store, and for Apple phone, go to App Store. Search YouTube and install. The second step is to register a YouTube account. Go to YouTube app to establish an account, your personal account, and enter your name, your birthday, gender, and continue. And create your Gmail address. Enter the address here, and then enter and confirm your password. Continue. Enter your phone number. After you receive the verification code, use it to verify your phone number, and then continue. Now your account is registered. The third step is to subscribe to Grandmaster JinBodhi's YouTube channel. Go to YouTube app, search Grandmaster JinBodhi. Choose the right channel. After you go to the right channel, you will see Grandmaster JinBodhi's wonderful teachings and live stream records. Remember to tap subscribe and turn on all notifications. The fourth step is to quickly see your favorable part of the video. Click at the video and then the triangle. Scroll down. And then if you tap the time code, you'll go to that part of the video right away. If you like the video, please tap like and also leave comments. Share with your friends and family. Teach your family and friends to subscribe to Grandmaster JinBodhi's YouTube channel so that they can also establish that connection with Grandmaster that will bring you immeasurable merits.
Hello,
my dear friends.
Hello,
Grandmaster.
Well, today, let's talk about something that's happening right now, the pandemic. There are so many different waves. Joyce and Christine, what do you think? Yeah, it's already been 2 years. Actually, well, let's look at the history. Actually, in many different parts of the world, there actually has been quite a few pandemic happened. And this time, unfortunately, we happen to also encounter a pandemic, how to deal with it, how to protect our health. This is actually something that is our main concern in these 2 years. Yes. And Grandmaster says a lot of the illnesses that we heard before, probably it's not an epidemic disease, but it was hard to cure, like the polio or TB. Or the tuberculosis and also malaria. Yeah, and also cholera. Yeah, it can also be life-threatening. Also, maybe, some can also be spread by animals, yeah, those chicken flu or yeah, it actually comes from the chicken farms, and then when human beings are affected, they cannot handle it either. And Christine said, oh, a long time ago, actually, I think we also have encountered a disease that's called mad cow disease, or BSE. And yeah, so those cow farms, they have to, well, they don't know what to do with it, so they have to kill those cows. And so along with the aging of the earth, there are many different kinds of illnesses, epidemic diseases. Well, with the change of the natural environment, and new diseases appears. I heard it's about like maybe 500 BC, no, AD. Oh, maybe 541 to 549. That was called Plague of Justinian. So plague is actually spread by, those rats, mouses. And even mouses, when they are infected by these disease, the plague, they cannot handle it. So there was like, yeah, so a lot of those mouse will die. And also when human beings being affected, human beings are also, there are lots of human beings die too. According to the historical record, I think at that time, about 200 million people died. Well, at that time, the records might not be very, very accurate, but maybe at least 100 million or even 200 million people died. At that time, maybe it was not a country, it was just a tribe, and then they see, oh, somebody died. And so maybe nobody actually will record the accurate number. Maybe it could even be 300 million. So that was in Europe, and it lasted for a long time, lasted for 200 years. And Joy said maybe because at that time there wasn't any good medicine. Say, for example, smallpox. At that time, do they have smallpox? Yes. But once it's spread, and nobody can do anything about it. Yeah. And Christine said, yeah, when smallpox is infected, the whole village will, die. And it was very terrible. And especially when they also have, chickens or ducks or animals, and the whole, like overnight, they didn't even know what disease it is, and then they all die. And human beings the same. So maybe they recorded for 100 million, but there are actually lots of people also died, but they just didn't record. Yeah. So it was just an approximate number. And there were actually many times in the history in many countries. And in Europe, there was another disease that was actually very terrible. It's called also the plague. And about 30 to 60% of the population died. How come you call it like so, like easily? So say this number so easily. Yeah, like close to half of the population, died. That was in Europe in the 1300s. Yeah, at that time, they call it Black Death or plague, and they probably didn't have enough time to cure, and just overnight they're like hundreds and thousands of people suddenly die. And well, closest to now, I think that was in 1918. There was a big flu in Spain, so it's called Spanish flu. In Europe, it was spread out all over Europe. Flu, usually you think, oh, it's just a flu, right? You just need some medicine and then it will be fine. But at that time, this is, it's quite life-threatening. And people think like antibiotics would work, but for this one, it didn't work. And so it was like after the World War, the First World War, and then there actually, because of this Black Death, there were 1/4 of the global population died. It's like, it's almost like a war. Killed so many people. These natural disasters plus these, wars and got together. They die, they fight in the world war, and then there's this natural disease, natural disaster, and killed, so like 1/4 of the world population. So now we have another pandemic. So we need to unite and work together to prevent the disease. And this time, every country has already been affected by these, and they have a lot of variant. They have the Alpha and the Delta, and now we have the Omicron. And it's still, have different variants and spreading, and so we still need to work very hard in preventing the COVID-19. And right now, the most important measure is to prevent is vaccine. Even though vaccine is not perfect, well, there is actually no perfect thing in the world anyways. And also we need time to, for vaccines, it also needs time to improve. And now everybody take vaccines just to save our life, basically. And we actually at that time, we talked about a very, very good medicine, which is penicillin. It was such a wonderful medicine, but it can actually hurt some people too. It's not perfect. It's not everybody is suitable for penicillin. And another kind of antibiotics actually would hurt the ears, but still, the majority of the people were protected by penicillin or the other antibiotics. And so right now, right after a baby was born, after a few days, there are many vaccines that they need to take to protect all these new babies. And before, our ancestors, they don't have a protection for hepatitis B, but the new babies, the second day, like right after they get they're delivered, they will get the hepatitis B vaccine, and then they will have the booster. There's vaccine for hepatitis B and hepatitis A, and they are very effective. And so now let's see, because of the vaccines, smallpox is almost controlled, and we don't see any cases, or at least not, spreading. And also, And also for polio, has mostly been controlled. So there's very, very low transmission rate or infection rate. And there are lots of doctors. They are so kind. They go to those remote areas, and then they give those medicine pills to the children. That's almost like a candy, and then they give it to them so that they can prevent polios. And so it's the public health. And so when everybody do their part to protect themselves, and then this disease can the transmission line will be stopped or broken, and so it cannot be spread easily. The countries that have very high vaccine rates, the new epidemic disease will reduce the rate of infection. And when we look at the numbers, before we heard in a state in the United States, even just in 1 week, there are so many people get infected and so many people die. But after they got vaccine, the number dramatically reduced. There are people who get the vaccine and still get infected, but the severity of the illness was dramatically decreased. And at the beginning, we were still hearing like, the hospitals were like having a lot of emergency because they don't have enough hospital wards or rooms to accommodate the patients. But now we very rarely will hear that. At the beginning, like it was quite severe, but after the vaccination, when we look at the global, these data for all the people who took the vaccine, and we can see that vaccine is a very effective way to control this. And the Canadian government actually had some measures, public health measures, like if you want to take a flight, or if you go to a restaurant or some other stores, you need to show your vaccine passport. Especially if you want to cross the border, then you definitely need to show the vaccine passport. And in the United States, only those people who are fully vaccinated, which means has at least 2 vaccinations, can enter the United States. Canada is the same, and the vaccine is very effective in preventing the spreading of the disease. Well, side effects, of course, any medicine has some side effects, and it's not perfect. The vaccine's not perfect, but still, a lot of these, researchers, they did a very good job, and they worked very hard in finding the good vaccine, good medicine. Well, because of the emergency right now, we don't have like 10 years or a very long time to observe the side effects or other effects of the vaccine, but still it's very effective. And so me personally, I recommend everyone to take the vaccine in a meditation center. I took the vaccine myself. So when we take it, we can so we prevent ourselves to be infected, and we prevent ourselves to infect others. Sometimes you probably don't have symptoms, but maybe you're carrying the virus and can affect others. So I'd like to promote and suggest all the the staff and volunteers at the Bodhi Meditation centers to go and take the vaccines. This is a very good, we should take the responsibility for the health and security of ourselves, of the center, and all the people around us. So now we are now in Vancouver. So Vancouver Bodhi Meditation Center's requirement is that if you have taken 2 vaccinations, you're allowed to visit the center. But if you're not vaccinated twice, then you can still join the practice, but it's online. But if you want to come to the center in order to protect your own health and everybody else, we suggest you to take the vaccine. For some people, because of medical reasons, they're not suitable to take the vaccine. You need to listen to the doctor's instructions, but in that case, you have to stay home and be more, you take stricter measures maybe to protect yourself because, the virus can be anywhere and it develops so many variants. Right? And Grandmaster says now there are many variants and there are the vaccines just being coming out, and so this is a democratic society, and so everybody can tell their own opinion. But the disadvantage is that even the best people, there's maybe this person is very good, no major, shortcomings, but still there are people saying that they have some disadvantage or something. And I even heard that after you take the vaccine, the government will follow you, and then somebody even said, if you take the vaccine, then the government will be able to always trace you and follow you. Well, what a big equipment they need to have. Now that the whole world, we have like 7 billion people. They have to track all the 7 billion people. It's impossible. We don't. Well, sometimes a lot of things actually we don't really know very well. You don't have to investigate thoroughly into everything to before you take it. Now, in order to live safely, protect yourself is a necessity. And in addition to the vaccine, I would suggest not to, go to gatherings or to the public places, and always wear facial masks. And you need to not only wear facial masks, but also wear it properly. Well, actually now, how long can we, Grandmaster says, how long can we use the facial mask? Well, can we wash it and then reuse it? Because we want to save some money. Well, we have those disposable facial masks, and then you just use it maximum 1 day. Well, maybe I can wash it, and then I will dry it, and then spray some alcohol. Oh, so those are cotton facial masks. Yeah. Well, if you use those reusable ones, you need to wash them very frequently, because otherwise, maybe the virus will accumulate there. So, and also the disposable ones, don't use them for like 10 days or 15 days, and so you need to change frequently. And do not use the facial mask on the other side. Usually the blue side facing outwards. Yeah, is that right? Yeah, the blue side is facing outwards. And then some people use the blue side towards their nose. Well, anyways, you need to make sure that the nose, there's elastic or something that can make sure that the facial mask is very close to your facial shape, and so the air will not just go in. And hopefully, all the air that you breathe will come through the facial mask, but you feel some like it's like uncomfortable. Yeah. Sometimes, when you go out and Vancouver is very cold, and then because of the cold air, maybe it will get frosting, or sometimes when you wear glasses, then you will have fogs on your glasses. It's not very convenient, but still, it's better to wear facial masks to protect your health. And also, we need to wash our hands frequently. When you come back home, you need to wash your hands frequently. Oh, Grandmaster said, I wash my hands 3 times. Is that enough? And when you wash your hands, you shouldn't wash too quickly. You need to, make sure every part of the hand is washed. In North America, there's a way. You need to sing the song, Happy Birthday song. After you finish the Happy Birthday song, then that's about the right length of time. Yeah. Yeah, so there are some tips like when you, the distance between the cars, you need to finish saying 100 and then driving that much, and then that's the right distance. But anyways, when you wash your hands, you need to wash your hands for a sufficient length of time. And also, you need to use 70% alcohol to disinfect the door handles, because especially in the public area, everybody will touch the door handle, and so there will be viruses or germs from anyone. I always want to save, so I don't want to use too much alcohol, but never save alcohol. In order to protect yourself, you use the money to protect your health. It's very, very worthwhile. And now, at the beginning of the pandemic, it's very hard to find alcohol to buy, and it's hard to even purchase facial masks. Now, we have sufficient supply, so we don't need to save alcohol or facial masks. Make sure. Also, another thing is about ventilation. It's not just for the pandemic, just for health, we also need to have sufficient ventilation. Another thing is also to keep the practice, the practice, with some sitting and with some movements. Yeah. So even just in Bodhi meditation, we have a lot of different kind of practices. If you have your own way of exercise, you can sweat and you always do it daily, or you have a good habit of doing the exercise. That's very good. You can keep on doing it. For middle age or seniors, those people who are not suitable to do, very strenuous exercises, then walk energy bagua is a very gentle exercise. And before walking energy bagua, we suggest everyone to do the energy bagua aerobics. Is it difficult to do? No. They said no. It can help us to refresh and warm up, and it's very good. A lot of people like it very much. It helps to, lubricate all these major joints and, to boost our cardiovascular system. And if some younger people think that it's not enough, then you can do the dragon dance. Yes. I guarantee you, after one round of this dragon dance, So if you want to, let me challenge you. If you want to do dragon dance, you'd better be younger than 18 years old. If you can still dance dragon dance, and you're older than 18 years old, you must be very healthy. Yeah, I heard Joyce, you can dance that dragon dance very well. And Joy said, I'm not very good at the dragon dance, but I really like energy bagua aerobics. I usually do it multiple times. So, yeah, these are very easy to understand, right? That when you do these, you're full of energy. Then you feel happier, right? When you look at things, you feel happier. When you are lack of energy, nothing seems to be good. When it's sunny, it's not good. When it's rainy, it's even worse. And when you're full of energy, whoever you see, you feel good. And not only physically you're healthier, but also you're in better moods. And in the pandemic, when we're staying home, it's very easy to be in a worse mood. But Grandmaster taught us these aerobics, energy bagua aerobics. It's really helpful. And when the whole family practice it together, it actually really feels good. Yeah, so we do together. The person who don't do the practice, then they will always be very picky. If we do the aerobics together, everybody is happy, and and everybody is in harmony. That's the best. And also, chant more. This is about this is the sacred part. If Buddhas and Bodhisattvas and the divine beings are protecting us and blessing us, definitely if they want us to live long, the epidemic disease can do nothing about us. And so when Buddha light shine us, it's a lot of times it's amazing and incredible. Poor people can be rich, and our lives can be transformed. Maybe a shorter life can be extended and become longer life. It's because of Buddha light's protection. So these 2 years, we follow Grandmaster and watch these live streams. We learned a lot, and we also learned a very important thing that we learned in these 2 years is about accumulating merits. So when we have these merits, we gain the protection and the blessings from Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, and then all these dangers will disappear, and these auspicious energy will always fulfill our wishes. Whatever you want. You want to increase your salary, find a good job, find a good partner, or buy a house. When we're auspicious, everything will be good. So when we have time to pay reverence and prostrate to Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, and accumulate merits, that's the best. So if we can go to also, if you can download the Grandmaster app, then that's the best. You can track your daily practice, what practice you did. You can record the length of time you did, and anything new you would also learn from it. So we mentioned about facial masks and disinfect the doorknobs and ventilation and everything. Another very important thing is to offer incense. If it's only for disinfection of the air in the room, just like once, you just need to burn like 1 centimeters. Our incense, the JinBodhi incense, we don't have any chemical ingredients there, which is harmful for the brain nerves. And our incense are all natural. So everything is natural. So either Yeah. It can dispel the evil and also protect us from epidemic disease. And so wherever you go in the world, you can see when they have any ceremonies, they will have the incense. Sandalwood or Agarwood, both are very good to dispel evil energy. Whether it's in Europe, in those Western religions, or the Oriental religions, and even the emperors in China, they would also use incense to dispel the evil energy that can cause any diseases. And so our Agarwood incense and sandalwood incense are very, very pure and very good to dispel evil energy. And if you go Google online, and the most famous book, the Compendium of Material Medica, it also has the records about these agarwood and sandalwood. And in all the temples, they burn the incense. When they don't have Buddhism, they are not offering to Buddhas or Bodhisattvas, but they're just trying to purify the environment, to dispel the bad energy that can cause epidemic disease. Because whenever any plague or any pandemic arrives, it's just like overnight it can take away people's lives. And so human beings are always trying to find ways to fight against these epidemic diseases. And one of the measure is incense. So burn some incense is always good for us. And also, our diet and is also very important to boost our immune system. So health. We want to eat healthy. A lot of our online friends are saying, why there are so many good food on the table? There's the corn, there's the green onion, carrots and garlic and persimmon and pomegranate and red dates and also dry turnips and ginger and garlic and gochi and yams.
越是在疫情期间，又是进入了冬季哈，那我们呢，就可以就是说有一种概念，就是病从口入。但是呢，我们希望说。
Well, in a pandemic, sometimes a disease can come in from your mouth. But now, today, we'd like to discuss about, eat healthily. And, sometimes the disease comes in from your mouth is because you eat the wrong thing. If you eat seafood with beer, then it can cause drought. Gout. And then your toes will be very painful. And it can cause even gallbladder stones or a lot of problems. And so you need to understand the nature of every food. Some people don't know. I remember many years ago in China, there was a student who was a middle-aged woman. She was a government officer. And she has some kind of rash on her face. And she went to see a lot of doctors. Nobody can help her. So it was because during the Chinese, festival, somebody gave her 3 boxes of mango because at that time mango is very, very expensive. So she gave 2 boxes to her friends and her, bosses. And then there was, she kept 1 box for herself and waited for her child to share with her. But her child didn't come back that year. And so, you remember that story? And so she had to enjoy the mango herself. And then she opened the box and found, oh no, mangoes are all very soft. She was afraid that mango will get rotten. Yeah. That was in Guangzhou. Even in the winter, it was very warm, and so she was afraid of having all the mangoes get rotten. She doesn't want to waste all these mango. So that day she ate 9 of them. Altogether there are more than 20. So 20 was finished in 3 days, but after that she couldn't sleep anymore. At the beginning she thought, it must be a lot of nutrition, and she couldn't sleep, so she got some alcohol, and then she tried to fall asleep, and it was because of the alcohol she was able to sleep. But then the next day she felt itchy the next day, and she went to see the doctor. The doctor didn't know what caused it, couldn't find out the reason. After a month, the whole body was so itchy, and she scratched and she couldn't help doing that. And then she finally found us, and she didn't know what to do, and we just say, okay, just come and practice. And she practiced for she came to 2 retreats, altogether 15 days, and every day she would practice for 2 hours. And after 2 retreats, she recovered, and she thought, oh my gosh, this energy is so strong and can cause such serious problem. Those very so-called nutritious food, you can't eat excessively. In the States, those hamburgers, can you eat a lot? Can you eat a lot steamed buns or a lot of noodles? Or nothing can be eaten excessively. You will definitely get overweight. So we need to watch for the quantity and also the timing. So I'd like to remind everybody, my suggestion is that always eat seasonal food. So now, right now is winter. So Grandmaster, what should we eat in winter and what we should not eat? So in winter, we should eat something that harvests in the fall, because in winter we don't have any harvest. The only thing that we harvest in the winter is the glacier. Hawthorn, the hawthorn on the stick like a kebab. So anyways, that's just a joke. It's like a candy. So in the winter, we should not eat watermelon, because watermelon is harvested in the summer. Because watermelon is to work with the heat, because that is harvested in the summer to deal with the heat. And so we shouldn't eat anything against the season, that harvest in a different season. Well, before, sometimes we feel like, oh, wow, we're quite envy if someone can have watermelon in the winter. You feel like, because it's very expensive. Well, that's just because, of you. Now we're talking about health. We need to follow the natural way. Why in this season this fruit or this vegetable is grown? Usually the plants that's grown in the summer has cold energy. Just thinking about all the melons or pear or peach. Let's see, watermelon, apricot, and plum, and and also melons.
各种瓜我都叫不上名字了，就甜甜的那种水瓜哈，几乎都是夏天的。
Yeah, a lot of melons.
为了降暑，降这个天燥热的，解暑的。
come to the world because they want to fight with the heat to decrease the heat. So those people who work outside or in the farm, they have worked in the farm for a whole day. It's extremely hot. And so they're about to get sick because of the heat. And then they will eat the watermelon, especially when they soak the watermelon in cold water. And it's so refreshing and really fights away the heat. But in the winter, if you eat watermelon, it's like it's like you have the frost on the ice. So yeah, it's yeah. So there's a Chinese medicine which they call the watermelon frost, and so it helps to fight internal heat in our body. And apricot or plum, they are also very, very cold. When you eat them, you need to be very careful. In the winter, it's not appropriate. So in the winter, we need to eat something that has a warm energy, right? Well, actually, I think about, now I remember a very good one, Korean ginseng chicken soup. Oh no, it's not the very warm energy. That's really hot energy. However, in Korea, now they have developed for so many years, the ginseng firms, they are like national firms, they are huge firms, and they become they're very, very important for the whole country. And so they distilled the essence of the ginseng from so now they use a lot of modern technology to plant ginseng. It's just like they distill sugar from yam, and then they can distill the essence of the ginseng. And then they've already distilled the essence from the ginseng, and the leftovers, they only have very little nutrition in the ginseng. And then, so that's why their ginseng doesn't have very hot energy. Sometimes Chinese people think, oh, Korean people put so many ginseng in their chicken soup, so we will just take some local ginseng also. We put it in the chicken soup. Sometimes it will be excessive. Some people cannot handle excessive nutrition, especially ginseng. So my reminder is that those very, very extremely nutritious food or extremely cold food, you need to be very careful in taking them because they can cause problems. So normal people probably don't need to take those. Only people who are really need a lot of vital energy, and it also depends, Grandmaster said, it also depends on your constitution. Some people who are extremely weak, maybe you're not suitable to take that kind of nutritious food. Somebody said, maybe a friend give you a ginseng, or your son is very filial, so give you the ginseng. But yeah, and then you drink that ginseng soup or something, and then maybe your nose will be bleeding. But what if your brain will be bleeding? It could be quite terrifying. So those who have very strong nutrition or very, very cold, they're not food anymore. They are medicines. And in Korea, that's their industry, and so they have already taken away and distilled the essence and take the essence away from the ginseng, and the leftover ginseng has not much nutrition there, so they will be sold very cheap, and they can put into the soup and not too much problem. but a lot of people, they cannot bear the ginseng. So that is a very special dish in Korea. People from other countries, when you have ginseng soup, you need to be very, very careful. Yeah, let's introduce some food in the winter. Oh, the first thing I thought about is pumpkin. A few weeks ago, we went to the pumpkin farms, and I really have a passion for pumpkins. I love that color and the feeling that pumpkin brings to me. Whatever way you use the pumpkin, you can squeeze a pumpkin juice and you can cook pumpkin soup. Well, actually, squash soup. There are different kind of pumpkins. Yeah, some kind of, pumpkins are quite, too juicy. And then another kind, actually in English, we call them, in Chinese, they all call them 南瓜, but in English, we have pumpkins, we have squash. And so those squash, actually, when we steam them, it's not too juicy. They actually are very delicious. And sometimes they also make pumpkin pie. So pumpkin or squash are very suitable for winter because they harvest in autumn. And turnips and radishes and Chinese cabbage and also wheat products, bread or noodles, because they all use wheat. And rice is good. Yeah, all kinds of rice. Because the main dish that we eat is suitable for all 4 seasons. White rice or millets, wheat or oatmeal. In Qinghai and Tibetan Plateau, they also have the barley, highland barley. And also, yeah. And there's another kind of, it's called a sorghum. Very few people would actually buy sorghum because it has very low sugar or oil. It's not like wheat, so they have quite some oil or but sorghum is very healthy. Yeah. And also actually, another very healthy food is buckwheat. Japanese people make them into noodles. Yeah, usually I know a lot of people with diabetes, they eat buckwheat. What is that? So they have the buckwheat powder, and then they make some noodles. Oh, yeah, and then they have make it into soup noodles. Yeah, I think that's the buckwheat noodle. Buckwheat noodle is a kind of wheat. So something has any food has something to do with wheat. The normal wheat, and then oatmeal, buckwheat. No. Not the Mongolian shaomai. Some Mongolian people say shaomai was created by them. Well, anyway. Oh, you don't know shaomai? It's a kind of a Chinese, snack or that.
那个小圆圆的红红的。
那个薯子啊，可能是在欧洲地中海那面。以及过去的中国都是，那是一个人类种植最早的一种
in Europe and in China.
最早的
Yeah, those
在几千
quinoa.
年前的留下的那个文字当中就有描述它
Actually,
这个数字啊。
yeah,
这个很古
those
老的
kind
人
of
类食用的
quinoa
粮
is
食
a very ancient kind of food that human beings eat, and now it's a very popular, healthy food in the Western restaurant. They have a lot of, they use a lot of quinoas, yeah, and they have
这个
different
照片
colors.
是
They
煮
have
熟的是
the
吧？
the red quinoa. Is
你
this
的照片
already
没煮熟，
cooked?
里面的内容
Cooked
是煮熟的。
quinoa? Yeah, they have different colored quinoas. They have the red, the white, yeah, and also corn.
玉米算了，
Yeah, the
秋天
black
收获的
and
植
the
物
red.
呀。
Yeah,
啊，玉米
corn is also harvested in the
接下来是
fall,
黄
so
豆，
it's
豆类
suitable for
几乎
winter.
都是秋
And
天的哈。
also
它
beans,
和豆苗不一样哈，就
soybeans.
豆
Yeah,
豆子。
all these beans are harvested in the fall. You know,
黄豆，
soybeans,
绿
red
豆，
beans,
黑豆，
mango
白豆，
beans, and
白
black
豆，
beans,
瓜
and
豆，
white beans, and
嗯，
yeah,
还有
lots
蚕
of
豆
and
啊，
还有西方的鹰嘴豆，
鹰嘴豆，鹰嘴豆还不错，它的性质比较温和。
we also have broad
花生豆。
beans and peanuts.
如果这么说是耍赖了啊。啊，
And also, yeah, look at that. So many
对。
beans and
我们不
chickpea.
用说太多了，大概我们常吃的几种豆子哈，对，
So
几乎都是
yeah.
秋天收获的。
most of
哎，
these
那
beans,
么
almost
豆
all of
子
them are harvested
一般
in
都
the
是
fall.
温
And
温性的，
beans
除
are
了绿豆
also has very
绿豆
mild
清凉解
energy,
毒。
e-
比如说你
except
喝了酒
mango
啊，容易头
beans.
昏吧？
Mango
啊，
beans
就像
has
清中
cooling
毒一样，
energy.
喝了
Like
绿豆
if
汤
you
醒
have,
酒。
if you
还有呢，
drink too
这
much
个
alcohol,
就是
drink
这
some
一天有点
mango
嘴角
bean
上火，嗓子有
soup.
点不
It
舒
helps
服
to
啊，
release
眼
the
睛
hot
模糊，
energy.
喝点
And
绿豆
if you
汤。
have too much
还有你在像我
internal
们北
heat
方人
and
煮
you
那个
have
米汤
throat
的时候，
pain
就
or
不是那么
eyes are
阴，
red,
但是
and
也
then you
需要
drink
有
some
一点
mango
点
beans.
降一降，调整一
And
下
so
降火的话呢，就是在煮白米粥的时候
when
放一
we
把绿豆进去。
yeah, if you just
啊，
need a
但是绿
little
豆呢
bit
比较
of
难煮，
cooling
最好提
energy,
前泡一晚
then
上。
you
啊，
can
先
put
用就
some
是温水
mango
泡，
beans in the
哎，
white
泡一
rice
晚上之
and
后
cook
再和大米一起煮，就
the
容易煮
the
了
the
啊。
congee
因为豆
together.
子比较结实
But
的，
beans are harder to
尤其
cook,
是
so
绿
maybe
豆
you can
啊。
soak the
我
mango
在
beans
给大家
for
加持炸绿豆的时候，
overnight
绿豆
and
很
then
难
put
炸
them
烂，
together with the white
长得很
rice.
硬啊。
Yeah,
硬的东
what
西
we
营
call
养
mango
嗯，
mango beans
但是
or
这个绿豆知道哈，
green
它
bean.
是豆
No.
类之中一个反叛的角色，它
结
是
束的，
良性的，
Yeah,
良性
so
的，也是我
only
们生活之
these
中非
mango
常重要
beans
的一种
has
豆
the
类。
cooling energy. Mung bean.
像红豆类，其实它又补气补血。
Yeah,
暖性的，
but the
啊，比较
red
暖性
beans
的。
actually
哎，
nourishing
还有它这个
our
颜色，
qi
颜色
and
象
blood.
征的，
The
像补充的内
color
容都有。
actually
中文还象
already
形文字
indicates
哈，
what
还其实
it nourishes.
吃的那个
You
东
know,
西
the
的长
Chinese
相，最
characters
后和你的身材
are
会有类似之
usually
处。常吃面条的人身材就像面条
indicates
一样，
what it helps.
常
And
吃冬瓜的你就知道长什么样了。
常吃馒头的，
sometimes the shape of the food has something to do
直接
with
立
the
场里
shape
下
of
你季
our
节吃饱
body
了，
figure. So if
南
you,
瓜可以多吃点。
yeah, anyways,
哎，那你说，
you can
我
eat
们中国
more
人形容这个女的挺美的，
pumpkins.
一看长个瓜子儿脸，请问是葵花籽还是那个南瓜籽？
Chinese people, when they describe a beautiful
一个考题给大
lady's
家啊。
face, they say their face is like the
西瓜籽。
shape of a seed. Well, sunflower seed, maybe. Oh, is that a sunflower seed
那
or
葵花籽就太
watermelon
瘦了
seed?
哈。
Well, sunflower seed is too long, too
对呀。
sharp.
哎，那南瓜籽儿
A
还可
pumpkin
以，南瓜
seed,
籽儿，南瓜籽儿再
so
养得
so,
好一点之后
okay.
就纯圆了，就是。
Yeah, when the pumpkin
可以。
seed is more
要不然照
round.
相的时候不划算。
Because
你想
otherwise,
你
when
去
you
照
take a
相，脸
picture,
小脸大都是那么多钱。
yeah, you pay the same amount of money when you take a picture, right? Whether your face is bigger or smaller. So you need to.
对，这个刚才师傅说的主食啦。那像这个蔬菜，
So just now we talked
蔬果
about
类
the
的哈，
main
那咱们说
food.
一说。
Now let's talk about
像土豆，
vegetables
就
and
马铃
fruits.
薯，
红
well, potatoes and well, children they didn't like potatoes before, but then they have those French fries, and then they start to like potatoes. I heard that at the beginning it was pretty hard to sell potatoes, and so the person who sells potatoes started to do French fries, and then everybody likes potatoes. And we could also do mashed potato. Oh, yam. And in my hometown, we grow a lot of yams. And we also have sweet potatoes. And also purple yams. Oh. Yeah, we also have the sweet potato. Yeah. And there's also cassava or tapioca.
松松的那个蒸熟它我那时候吃的时候是蘸白糖吃
And also taros. And then you can dig into the sugar. Oh, and when you're young, like a little child, you eat that way, you have a lot of money. Yeah. Yeah. When I was a child, we eat everything with sugar. We eat potatoes with sugar. Last time you said you would dig into the pig oil. Oh, that you need to have a lot of money to have pig oil. Yeah. And so they would also deep fry the steamed bread, sliced steamed bread, and then dig into sugar. Oh my gosh, that's so delicious. And Grandmaster says, in my childhood, I eat those beets. Yeah, those beets. And that beet is very nutritious. When you steam it, yeah, it's like the purple kind of, it's kind of like blood. Yeah, yeah. Christine is holding one of them. Yeah, and it's quite sweet. Yeah. And also very nutritious for blood. It's good for women. But men also need to nourish their blood, right? So they also need beets. So until now, the source of sugar, actually at least 1/3 of them comes from beets. So they will, yeah, originally they just cook the beets, and then they will have the serum of the beets, and then they will make into sugar. They actually can compare with the cane sugar. And you can also eat beets raw, or you can also squeeze the beets and make beet juice. I think a lot of Western people like the beets. They would either eat them raw or steam it, or they will make the beet juice. Yeah. And some people will also make soup with the beets. You're just having a pronunciation joke. And the northern people, when they're making dumplings, when they want different colored dumpling peels, then they would put some beets into, and put into the wrap of the dumplings, and then it will look red. Oh, that's very luxurious. Maybe, yeah, if it's red, it's probably beets, and then if it's orange, it's carrot, and the green ones must be spinach. Oh, I heard one of our t-shirt is actually dyed by these beets. And another thing is turnips.
你们俩怎么都说是好东西了？
You both said this is very good, huh? Yeah, because we eat turnips a lot, the whole my life. We have many different kinds of, turnips and radishes.
给大家介绍一下
Yeah,
萝卜
these
有
are
一些特性
radishes.
啊
So turnips and radishes helps to release some air. Well, in the winter, you need to nourish your body, right? Why should you release some air? It's like the tire. You don't want them to lose air.
它排的是废气。
Oh, so don't worry because they release all the wasted air
那好气呢就留在
in your,
肚子里头。
in your intestines or your stomach. So good qi will still be preserved. There's a funny joke when people deliver food. If it's a cesarean birth, the next day, the mother is very
今天放屁了没有？
哇，这么
Yeah.
坦率。
产妇都对，不好意思。
And then the mothers would say, did you release qi? Did you fart? And then the new mother would say, oh no, not yet. Okay, so today's lunch, you put some turnips there. Yeah, so right after, especially cesarean birth, or if you had any surgery in the abdomen, in order to prevent the intestines to stick together, one of the indication of very healthy intestines is that they can fart very easily. And turnips would be a wonderful medical way to promote farting. And so every day they will check and check every bed, every patient. Did you fart? Did you fart?
什么鱼生火，肉生痰，萝卜青菜保平安。
And so there's an old Chinese saying, the fish can cause fire and bring fire, and meat can bring flame. And turnips and Chinese cabbage will keep us safe. Yeah, usually at the holiday season, people would always eat a lot of nutritious food, and so get some turnips and Chinese cabbage actually helps the digestion. And there's another Chinese saying, with the turnip or radish together with very strong tea. So every day, if you eat some turnips or radish and then drink some strong tea, then we're going to keep the doctors away. We keep the doctors away. The Chinese idiom is using a very funny way of describing keep the doctors away. Yeah. Well, Western people say apple a day keep the doctors away. So it's the same. If you eat healthy, then you don't need to go to see the doctors, right? Yeah. So in the Chinese idiom, they say, oh, the doctors are so sad because they have no patience. Yeah, so turnips and radishes with very strong tea. So, after we said that tonight, all of you will have turnips and radishes. You can either make soup, or you can make cold dishes or salad, or and then you don't think about farting. Well, if you want to drink tea, I strongly recommend you to drink very strong Pu-erh Tea from Bodhi Meditation. That will really help us to keep the doctors away. Nowadays, people are not having a lot of labor, and they eat too many very greasy food, and so have some turnips and and radishes, it helps the grease to go away. When the qi goes down, people are feeling very smooth and healthy. When the qi comes up, you will get irritated. And yeah, that actually reminds me, when you stay at home because of pandemic, and then you get very irritated, easy to be irritated, and then when the air goes down, it's healthy. But when the air comes up, then you will get very bad-tempered, or after you have the turnips or radishes, you need to go have a walk. Well, actually, I like two ways of cooking turnips. First way is to dry the turnips and then marinate it. So preserved dry turnips, and it actually it's very chewy and feels good when you eat it. And another one I like, yeah, sometimes they cut those sliced turnips and then they preserve it. And then, yeah, it's kind of sour and sweet. So they make preserved turnips, and it actually can reduce the grease and lower the blood lipid and lower blood sugar, blood pressure. It's really very good and tastes wonderful, delicious. Yeah, I think in Sichuan province they also use that. Korean people also do the preserved turnips. It's very similar to those Sichuan preserved vegetable. Maybe they're coming from the same ancestors. Yeah, actually, after it's preserved, then they didn't put any chemicals. They just put some salt. And so there's a very popular word, which is enzymes. And it really helps to promote the digestion, especially children and seniors, because seniors don't exercise or work a lot, and their organs function is, degenerated. And children need to eat it. Some children don't want to eat, and then the mom always have to chase them to feed them. And then the child doesn't like to eat and get very thin. And another kind of child is that they always want to eat, and they always feel not full. And you definitely need to give them this kind of preserved turnips, like. Yeah, and you can also drink that preserved juice, and that helps to promote the digestion. And there's another hawthorn, sliced hawthorn. Yeah, we actually. Yeah, so for seniors and hawthorn flakes or hawthorn slices, you can buy them, and it helps the seniors and children to digest and excretion. Otherwise, they can get sick. For children, they can have fever or running nose, or their face is dirty, or their hands could be hot, or they get cold. A lot of times it's because of the digestion is not good, and they just eat too much, so the food is stuck there. And so for the little children, they have a small belly, a small stomach, and then it's stuck there. So what to do? At least twice a week, you can give them these hawthorn flakes or slices. And these preserved turnips, it's so much better than those fish or meat. These are really helpful to make them healthier. And
萝卜的气是往下顺，一个是人该排的排出来，而且情绪也往上。
So turnips help us to move the air down, so our qi will be smooth and go down and in better mood. Yeah, and northern Chinese people really love those turnips, and they sometimes even put them into dumplings. And so I recommend 2 ways of eating turnips. Do you still remember? The dried turnips. Yeah, I found even in Taiwan they also have it. And in Taiwan, every time Grandmaster said when I go to Taiwan, I will buy some dried turnips. In Taiwan, there's a place where they make. Actually, their dried turnips are like very dark, like coals. It's actually very aged dried turnips. It's not their specialty. It's just because they have preserved it for a very, very long time. Do you still remember the benefits of those aged dried turnips? It helps to cure respiratory problems. Some people say, oh no, they dare not eat it because it's very salty. If they have any throat problems, would that cause the throat issues? At the beginning, I was also suspicious about it, but when I tried it, I found, I had 1 bottle of that dark dried turnips. There were thousands of people asked for that. I was only able to give out dozens of them, and it's all gone. Yeah, and turnips are. There's another saying that people who have very cold constitution, they cannot eat too much turnips or radishes. Maybe if the doctor say that you need some nutrition from ginseng, then do not eat turnips. Otherwise, it will counter the benefits of ginseng. So the ginseng will be released from the air, from the farting, and we don't know whether we are weak or not, or cold constitution. Turnips are not like ginseng. It's not that strong. And there's another healthy way of eating turnips. In the winter, we should eat turnips, and in the summer we should eat ginger. Why is that? Because gingers are warming, right? But in the winter, why should we eat turnips? Why should we eat turnips in the winter? Because it helps digestion. And also because inside the room there's always heating. Especially in northern China, they have those, they have the stove and the furnace, and then it's very hot inside. And then with so much heat, and because they don't move so much in the winter, and then they eat a lot of hard to digest food, so they need turnips to help balance the heat and balance and help promote the digestion, and it also helps the respiratory system. And when in the winter, because there's too much heating and makes the room very dry, it actually can harm the throat and the respiratory system. So the turnips actually helps the respiratory system and helps the excretion and releasing. And ginger, we suggest eating in the summer. All the food that actually harvest in the summer are usually having cold energy. So in the summer, most of us will sweat too much. It's a big releasing. So we will release a lot of things from our body. And so in the hottest time in the summer, Yeah, so those chicken soup with ginseng actually should start from the hottest time in the summer. And also in the summer, we should eat some ginger when you stir fry or cook some congee, or you can put some sliced ginger or powdered ginger, and that can dispel the cold energy in some cold food and can establish a good foundation for you to, absorb more nutrition in the fall and winter. Because otherwise, in the summer, if we sweat too much, then we also lose a lot of energy when we sweat too much. And so in Guangdong province, when I see those old ladies doing stir fries, they would shock those northern ladies, I'm sure. The old ladies in Guangdong province, they would cut a big chunk of, they would put a lot of ginger. I thought that was just tofu, but that was actually ginger, and it's so spicy. I said, why do you put so much ginger? And then the old lady said, oh, the sui choy actually, or the bok choy has a lot of cold energy, because in Guangdong province, it's very humid and very hot, and so in the summer they sweat too much and they cannot preserve the energy, so they use ginger to preserve the heat and the energy, especially those who find it hard to get pregnant. You probably, or you have stomach ache or belly ache, you'd better have more ginger. So remember this poem. Eat turnip in the winter. Eat turnip in the winter and ginger in the summer, and you cannot take ginger at night or in the evening. Yes, because ginger is heat and energy, and it goes to all the meridians. So if somebody has numbness in their hands or feet, if you cook some ginger soup with brown sugar, it actually helps to smooth out all the meridians and can prevent early cold, and you'll feel maybe a slightly perspiring. You're perspire a little bit. And so ginger helps. Ginger will go to meridians and immediately increase energy. So at night or in the evening, if you take ginger, it will make you too excited, because you're not supposed to be excited at night. And then your brain will be too excited, but your body is exhausted, and so your body will be fighting, and then it will be hard for you to fall asleep. It's all because of ginger. Oh, now I understand. So at night or in the evening, we shouldn't eat too much ginger in the evening. And so at night, what should we eat? Oh, turnips. Anyways, so we can eat ginger in the morning, right? Yeah, so that would help us to refresh ourselves. But in the morning, we very rarely would eat ginger. But I actually would suggest you to buy those, those radish ginger that actually you can. And it's like ginger preserved in vinegar. And then you can have that preserved ginger with your porridge or with your steamed buns, and maybe lunch is okay, but never for supper, okay? So at night or for supper, if you eat ginger, it's almost like taking poison. Yeah, this is a little bit, yeah. If you want to lose your hair, then you definitely need to eat ginger because it makes you too excited and you always scratch your hair. And yeah, so in the evening, if you eat ginger, there are lots of disadvantages. And yeah, I remember for breakfast congee, those Guangdong people, they would put ginger, sliced ginger in the congee because rice has, those white rice has a little bit cold energy. So put some ginger in it. It's actually very reasonable. And and also those bok choys and put some ginger in it. It's good. And northern people usually would put green onion. It's the same idea. Southern people like to put ginger. Okay, now we know how to eat ginger, when to eat ginger, and when to eat turnips. And another thing that another food that we recommend is actually red dates. I know Joyce really likes red dates, and she usually will take red dates as like a snack. And sometimes when in the northern China, they also cook congees with red dates, and also they put dates in those wrapped sticky rice buns. And yeah, so red dates are very popular, and it's very nutritious, very good. And it helps the spleen and helps the blood. So exceptionally suitable for ladies. Good for men too. So Grandmaster says, in my hometown, we grow dates, and there are lots of dates tree, and red dates are very good. Yeah, some food from my hometown I like, and some I don't like so much. But red dates I usually like, and it helps to nourish our blood and qi, and it helps to boost our digestion system. Yeah, and also improve the whole complexion. And red dates, the skin of the red dates are a little bit too hard to digest. So for seniors, maybe you can steam the red dates. I remember my grandparents, they would steam the dates. Yeah, so those dried dates, are they already cooked? Yes, they are ripe, but they can still steam it. And so it tastes softer if you steam it. And then the date skin won't be so hard, especially those who don't have a very strong digestion system or seniors. It's hard for them to digest the date skin, so they can, cook it. I remember in a restaurant, they bring a dessert. They have red dates and goji and the white fungus, and maybe rock sugar. And they say that this actually helps to nourish the qi and also beautify the skin. This is very good. I recommend everybody to drink more. And right now, in a lot of supermarkets in Vancouver, they have those fresh dates. And it's quite crispy. I like it, Joy said. And yeah, it's pretty good, but it's different from the red dates. Those dates will promote excretion. I don't know why, but when we eat those too much, it can cause diarrhea. Yeah, this kind of dates. Well, now we don't have any opportunity to eat too much of those fresh dates. Usually what we eat are those dried red dates. So in the winter, we can't eat too much though. And dates can make a lot of desserts, yes. In my hometown, at the Chinese New Year, then they would put red dates on the steamed buns and looks good. And also, they make also the red dates and roll it into the steamed buns, and it's very fragrant and very sweet and also nutritious, and the red color is very, fortune color. But the date skin is hard to digest, so when you eat red dates, you can steam for at least 35 minutes. It's very delicious. And the second way is to burn the date skin and then make tea out of the dates, and it really helps to calm the mind and also helps the digestion, the stomach. Yeah, when it's burned, it helps the digestion. Oh, there's a burned dates? Oh, okay, there's a name for that? I thought those are like, black dates. They're actually very good. You just use these burned dates to make tea, and it helps the digestion. Yeah, very good. So all the food that we have mentioned, for those diabetes patients, or if you have any serious diseases, you need to be very careful. Next, let's talk about persimmon. Today there's quite a few persimmon in front of Master.
柿子，就吃起来有点涩。
If you eat persimmon, it will taste very astringent.
所以就要讲，就是怎么就避免这个涩。
So we have to talk about how to eat persimmon.
等是在就是放着它的。
So first, you have to just leave it there and wait for it to turn very soft. Usually, it's the skin that is very astringent. So once it's soft, you just eat the fruit inside without the peel. And when you're buying the persimmon, just squeeze it and buy the soft ones. When we eat persimmon, we always eat it when it's very soft. And if it's as hard as an apple, then it's not very good. You have to eat very soft persimmon. Say that all the soft persimmon has been bought by other people. You can buy some hard persimmon and then just leave it on the counter until it's soft. Christine says, can we rub it often until it becomes soft? Juden says she doesn't know. And this persimmon in my hand, it's actually very hard, and it feels as hard as an apple. There's another way. You can put it in the freezer and freeze it. After 2 hours, and if you bring it out tomorrow, it becomes very soft persimmon. Many people from northern China, they have left messages, and they left messages on Facebook and Instagram, and says that in northern China, when there's a lot of snow and ice, they will just bury their persimmon in the ice, in the snow, and after a few days they will dig them out and let it sit in the warm room and and melt. And they say that it's very sweet, and they can eat the persimmon with a straw, and they just suck the inside out. It sounds very nice. Uli says, just next time I'll bring some persimmon onto the snowy mountain. After you freeze it, it's very tasty. And for the persimmon, after you freeze it, it's still very beautiful. When I was young, we didn't have a freezer, and we just freeze it in the snow. And whenever we want to eat it, we just dug one out. And after it's frozen, the taste is changed, and it's not astringent anymore. It's very sweet and very watery too. So you have introduced frozen persimmon, and if you buy hard persimmon from the market, just put it. Do you put it in the fridge, or the freezer? You put it in the freezer, and you have to make it frozen overnight. And when you take it out of the freezer, don't eat it right away. Let it melt naturally. Or you can soak it in some water, and once it warms up to room temperature, it's very soft, and it becomes very watery and very tasty. It's like a persimmon juice. It becomes more sweet. And also, don't eat the peel. Why not? Because the astringent taste actually comes from the peel. There's an element, what's it called? Tannic acid. And when you eat it, if you eat a lot of tannic acid, then it becomes indigestible. Can you eat the persimmon leaf? Yes, you can. Oh, I was joking. Zhujian says many people will put the persimmon leaf into water and drink the water. And it can also be used as medicine. But most of the time, we wouldn't eat it. Maybe only when we need it as a medicine. And it's also very interesting. Master said that now when you purchase in the market, you will find these very hard persimmon. These persimmon has been processed so that it's less astringent. But even at that time, you have to peel the persimmon. So don't eat the skin. There's no. So for the persimmon, you have to peel before you eat it. Master is joking that Zhujian and Wuli are like doing stand-up comedy. They're very happy and they're very good at food. So Master has reminded us that people who are diabetic, they should be careful about eating persimmon. Don't eat a lot of it. So persimmon has a cold characteristic, and if you eat it, it is beneficial to your throat and to remove excessive heat. If you eat too much, you might become allergic. And there's a lot of food that comes from persimmon. If you dry it, then it becomes a dried fruit. And in different regions, they will make these dried persimmon in different ways. And Korean people, they are very good at making these dried persimmon. And so is Taiwan and Xi'an or northern China. And yearly in autumn, you can see people drying these persimmon under the sun. The other day, Master has posted a picture on his Facebook, and that is from Korean. Korean people drying the persimmon under the sun, and in northern China, the dried persimmon that we make would be very flat, but Korean people, when they dry this persimmon, it's actually in the size like a lamp. So why do Korean people have a long face? It's similar to the persimmon, right? After you dry it, it's also very long. So it's beautiful. Master says, so we get to know a little bit about persimmon. And this is a food from winter. There are many content associated with this, and we can slowly get to know it. There's something that I really want to share with you, and that is pomegranate. We all saw the pomegranate, and we all have to get to know more about it. Why don't you two start it? Wuli says it's so beautiful. The pomegranate red is so beautiful. And this is a color that Chinese people really like because it's a color of auspiciousness. And in special festivals and in Chinese New Year, we would make offerings with red fruits. And when you open up the pomegranate, there are many seeds. And so we will give pomegranate to newly married couples because it's a symbol of many children. In ancient Egypt, even the pharaohs, when they are making offerings to the gods, they will use pomegranate. So there was pomegranate in ancient Egypt. And there's another saying, it's a Chinese saying says to grovel at the feet of pomegranate colored dress. And this saying originated from the Tang Dynasty. So Yang Guifei, one of the I think one of the concubines of the Tang emperor, and she was very beautiful, and she attracted many men. Master says, I don't think that's the case. I think maybe she had a belt made of pomegranate, so her dress was red. And when you hung pomegranate on the dress, then it's very beautiful. And the man loves to eat pomegranate. And so if they bow in front of her, they can get a pomegranate from concubine Yang. And concubine Yang, her father probably is a pomegranate farmer. And that's why she's... Jijin says, oh, so she's selling the pomegranate. So pomegranate cannot be used to make a dress. So I think it's a dress that has pomegranate hanging on it. And so she gives pomegranate away, and she sells pomegranate. And also the pomegranate juice is red. And pomegranate juice is very good for the blood. And maybe you can use it as a nail color or coloring for clothing. And it also has antioxidant properties. We often hear that this is antioxidant and that is antioxidant, for example, blueberry. We didn't know that it has such a good benefit. And also, there's some element in pomegranate that is beneficial to the eye. If you eat too much of it, would you have red eye? Your eye wouldn't be red. Your eyes will probably be brighter. It actually improves cardiovascular health. It lowers blood pressure, improves elasticity of blood vessel, lowers blood lipid, blood sugar, cholesterol level too, and it prevents coronary artery disease. Jijin says, there's just too many seeds because but the benefit is that you wouldn't be able to eat too much because it's too difficult. And Master says buy a big basin so that you don't waste any juice. Zhejian says she wanted to suggest this when we were talking about persimmon, so you when you're eating the pomegranate, put your feet in a basin, and any juice that is wasted will drip into the basin and nourish your shoes, nourish your feet. And so pomegranate has a lot of benefit to health. So it's antioxidant, it prevents cancer, it lowers blood pressure, blood lipid, blood sugar. So it's beneficial to cardiovascular health. And it also dilutes your blood and provides many health benefits. Zhejian says that it also treats parasites. It's anti-parasitic. I'm not sure which part of the pomegranate, but some part of it can be used as medicine, and it's very beneficial. Uli says it's very difficult to eat, and I think sometimes I would just chew on the seed and just swallow the seed. Zhejian is joking that once you eat the pomegranate seed, there will be a pomegranate tree growing in your stomach. Master says that maybe you can try to steam the pomegranate, and then the seed will be very soft, and then you can eat it. So Zhejian says pomegranate is edible, but if you have a weak digestive system, then just avoid it. If it's very hard, avoid it. But most of the pomegranate we purchase in North America, the seeds are chewable. Uli says it is pomegranate season right now, so we can use pomegranate as offering fruits, and it's very beautiful. And it symbolizes many children, many fortune. Master says, then I suggest, say that if you have a balcony or if you have a yard, then maybe you can grow some pomegranate trees. It is very auspicious, and it's also beneficial for your feng shui, and it helps you to become healthier too. And pomegranate tree can grow for a very long time. Then let's buy some pomegranate trees. And so pomegranate is very good. And it is pomegranate harvest season, so let's eat some more pomegranate. Zhejian says when we should eat pomegranate fruit by ourselves. Don't just drink pomegranate juice to drink. In that, many pomegranate is used to make one bottle of juice, and that contains a lot of sugar, and it's not very healthy. Master says many years ago I have advocated that no matter what we eat, for example, even when we're eating sweet potato, we should eat it with our own teeth or our own mouths, and it's beneficial to our brain, our body. Juice seems to be simple. You can just drink it. But don't forget it, you are not chewing. When you are chewing, there's friction and there's saliva, and it helps you to better digest it. And it also helps your body to accept it. And so this process of eating is very beneficial and very scientific. And it's also beneficial to the teeth. Many people have inflammation in the in the gum because they are not chewing enough, because they drink a lot of fruit juice and their food is cut into very small pieces, and so they are not using their teeth anymore. And so you have to chew so that you exercise your teeth and strengthen them. Jurgen said we should eat sweet potatoes. So like eat sweet potatoes raw in large bites. So we should bite sweet potatoes. And some people say that they have practiced very well, but they have lost all their teeth. Then it means that you haven't practiced very well, because healthy teeth represent strong vital energy. And my Master Zhen told me that if you are weak, then there's a tip for you. When you go pee, you should bite your teeth, and it strengthens your teeth. Once your teeth are strengthened, then you will be healthier. So this is a little tip for you, and you can write it down as a note. When you're peeing, bite your teeth, and it strengthens your teeth. It strengthens your vital energy and protects your vital energy. So when we are eating fruits, we should bite with our teeth, and it's very beneficial. Jurgen says, Master, we talked about many nutritious food for winter. In some places, for example, Malaysia, Indonesia, they don't have a clear winter. Even though it's winter, it is still 20 degrees Celsius. What can we tell them? In such a hot temperature, they still like to eat durian. What should they do? Master says, as Northerners, when we go there, they would ask, how can you live in such a hot temperature? But for them, they're used to that temperature. It's like a fish that's used to warm water. They can't live in colder water. But whether it's northern or southern, no matter where you live, when you're eating, you have to combine solid food and white food. And in Chinese, the act of eating is called 饮食. 饮 means drink, and 食 means to chew. And so this is a combination, and this is a combination of yin and yang. It's a balance of yin and yang. The second is to have a balance of cold and warm. This cold and warm is not about the temperature of the food you eat, but about its property. There are some food who has a cold property, some food has a warm property. For example, millets, glutinous rice, they have a warm property. And whenever you eat, you have to balance the warm and cold food that you eat. Many people in Southeast Asia, they like to eat durian, but durian is like ginseng of the southern Asia. And many people who likes to eat durian may have hair loss because they could not use up all the heat. So some people told me that when you're eating durian, you should put your feet in water or eat it together with mangosteen. Don't say that you can eat a lot of durian and become wealthier. And don't just eat a lot because of that. Remember, whenever you eat, balance your yin and yang. Don't eat too much extremely cold food. Don't eat too much of extremely warm food. And make sure that it's balanced and don't eat too much of it. For example, durian for an adult man, if you don't have any illness, if you're healthy, then eat just when you open up the durian, just eat 2 stripes of the durian. Usually there is about 4 to 5 stripes of durian in each fruit. Just eat 2 at most, because if you eat more, then it will be too excessive. You will have acne and you can't sleep well at night. Many fruits that have spikes on the outside are not simple fruits. They're either very warm or they're very cold. For example, cactus. Cactus has a lot of spikes, and fresh cactus, they can be used as medicine if you cut it and grind it into what you can put it onto wound that wouldn't heal, and that wound will heal very fast. Many people have wounds that comes from chemical poison or other sort of damage that it wouldn't heal. But if you buy some large cactus and grind it until it's a mash, then put it on that wound, it will help you to heal. And these are just some secrets that my master told me, and I want to tell you to help you gain health. Bodhi said, when we go to Mexico, we have eaten salad made of cactus. I think it probably has cold properties. A few days ago, I found some very special wood. It's white colored with a lot of webbed, and it's actually the bone structure of an old piece of cactus. I'll bring one someday and show it to you. And that is also it can also ward off evil spirits. So we've talked a lot today. It's already 2 hours. I wanted to chant with you. And so maybe you can find some time yourself to chant. If you still have time, chant for an hour today. And that's all for today. So right now it's already winter, and Master introduces the ways of eating and dressing for winter, and that's almost Christmas and New Year. And the New Year, a new spring is coming, and many people are celebrating. You probably have a need to buy gifts for your friends and families. And Cibeiyin has also started their holiday season promotion, and these treasures can give you protection and ward off evil and bring you positive energy, and they are beautiful and elegant. So you can find them online at cibeiyin.com. And there are some ruby items as red as the pomegranate. And if you want to choose, remember to purchase early, because after the pandemic, shipping takes a long time. If it took 1 month before the pandemic, now it might take 3 months. So if you need it, order it early. Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to receive it as a New Year's gift. So,
好，那我们还有下次直播呢哈。
What about our next live stream? Our next live stream will be in North America, Saturday, December 11th at 6 p.m. And in Asia, Taipei time, it will be Sunday, December 12th at 10 a.m. All right. I wish everyone good health and happiness. May you be auspicious, and may all your wishes come true. May your entire family be happy. See you next time.
小小的红点里，人生就此欢喜。我快乐了，我健康了，我幸福了，我美丽了。在茫茫人海之中，让我与你相遇。小小的红点里，人生变得神奇。我智慧了，我宽容了，我慈悲了，我自在了。因为有了你，生命变得更坚定，不忧忧无虑。因为有了你，日子不再有哭泣，不再有恐惧。我快乐了，我快乐了，我健康了，我健康了，我幸福了，我幸福了，我美丽了，我美丽在茫茫人海之中，让我与你相遇。小小的红点里，人生就此欢喜。我快乐了，我健康了，我幸福了，我美丽了。在茫茫人海之中，让我与你相遇。小小的红点里，人生变得神奇。我智慧了，我智慧了，我宽容了，我宽容了，我慈悲了，我慈悲了，我自在了，我自在了。因为有了你，要最深